In this video, I will teach you two different methods to factor quadratic equations which have a leading coefficient other than 1 and it cannot be factored out. So let's take a look at this first example. I have 3x squared plus 8x plus 4. My leading coefficient or a value is 3, which I cannot factor it out. So what should I do here? The first thing we need to do is to find two numbers which their product is a times c. So let me draw the x. So I'm looking for two numbers which their product is a times c, in this case 3 times 4, which is 12, and their sum should be 8, the b value, 8. So what are those two numbers? Those two numbers are 6 and 2. 2 times 6 is 12, 2 plus 6 is 8. If you're not able to figure out the numbers, let's say you have like big numbers or like weird numbers, which is not easy to find those two numbers, what can you do is you can write down the factors of the number. So for example, in this case it's 12. I know the factors of 12 are 12 and 1, 6 and 2, and also 4 and 3. And we try and see which one works here. So 12 plus 1 is 13. This one doesn't work. 6 plus 2, that gives me 8. So this one works. 4 plus 3 is 7. This one doesn't work. So this is the numbers which works in this case, 2 and 6. Once you figure out those two numbers, the next thing you need to do is to break down that middle term into those two numbers. So I write 3x squared. Instead of 8x, I should say plus 6x plus 2x. And then I have a plus 4. Now I have a quadratic with 4 terms, so I can use factor by grouping and then factor. So I group the first two together, 3x squared plus 6x, and then I group the second two terms, so 2x plus 4. So from the first bracket, what's my common factor? I can factor out a 3x squared divided by 3x, that gives me x. And I have 6x divided by 3x, that's just 2. So, and from the second group, I can factor out a 2, so positive 2, I factor that out. 2x divided by 2, I get x. 4 divided by 2, that gives me a 2. And now I have this expression and this expression. What is in common between those two? X plus 2 is in common. So I factor out x plus 2. Open the bracket. The first one divided by x plus 2, I'll be left with 3x. Second one divided by x plus 2, I'll be left with 2. So positive 2. This is the factor form of this quadratic expression. This is the first method. I want to teach you a different method, which is much faster. So what we do here is, again, same thing. I have to draw the x, and I'm looking for two numbers, which their product is a times c, again, 12. Their sum is 8. We already figured out those numbers. So they are 2 and 6, those two numbers. But what can I do here? After I figure out the numbers, I need to divide those two numbers by the leading coefficient or the a value of the quadratic. So in this case, it's 3. So I have to divide these numbers by 3. And then I simplify. So 6 divided by 3 is just 2 over 1, 2 over 3. I cannot simplify any further. So now I can say the numerator, the denominator of this number. Let's focus on this one first. I have 2 over 3. So the denominator is the coefficient of the x. So I write it as 3x. And the numerator is the constant term. So it's positive 2, so plus 2. Now for the other factor, focus on this number, 2 over 1. The denominator, again, is the coefficient of x. So it's 1x. And the constant term is just the numerator, so x plus 2. These are my factors, which you can see is just the same factors, but this method is faster. Okay, good. Let's do another example quickly. Let's take a look at this one. 6x squared plus 5x minus 4. So again, my leading coefficient is 6 and I cannot factor it out. So what should I do? I need to find two numbers which their product is A times C, which is negative 24. Their sum is 5. What are those two numbers? You can say 8 and negative 3. So negative 3 times 8, negative 24, negative 3 and 8 is positive 5. Again, if you're not able to figure out those numbers, you can write down the factors of this 24 and then try those factors and you'll come up with those two numbers, okay? All right, next thing we need to do is to break down this middle term and rewrite it in terms of those two numbers. So I can say 6x squared minus 3x plus 5x, and I have a minus 4 as well. So negative 3x, oops, not 5x, sorry. My numbers are negative 3 and positive 8, so this is 8x. So I have 6x squared minus 3x plus 8x minus 4. Negative 3x and positive 8x, that gives me positive 5x. So I just rewrite it, this middle term, in terms of those two numbers. What do I do next? I have a quadratic with 4 terms, so I can group each two terms separately. So 6x squared minus 3x bracket. Group the other two, 8x minus 4. And now, for the first bracket, what can I factor out here? I can factor out the 3x. So 3x, 6x squared divided by 3x, that gives me 2x. And negative 3x over 3x, that's just minus 1. From the second group, I can factor out a positive 4. 8x divided by 4, that gives me 2x. Negative 4 divided by negative 4, that's negative 1. Now I have two terms or two expressions. 2x minus 1 is in common, so I factor that out. 2x minus 1, so I'll get 3x plus 4. These are my factors. And now let's do the second method as well. So for the second method, again, same thing. I draw the x, I write down those. I'm looking for two numbers which their product is negative 24, their sum is 5, and those two numbers, we already found them. They are 8 and negative 3. And what can I do here now? We have to divide those two numbers by the leading coefficient, or the a value, which is 6 in this case. So 8 over 6, negative 3 over 6. 8 over 6, let's simplify or write it in lowest term. So I divide top and bottom by 2, so I get 4 over 3. And over here, I divide top and bottom by 3, I'll get negative 1 and 2. So now I can say my factors are, let's start with this number, first left one. I can say, we said the denominator is the coefficient of the x, so I say 2x, and the numerator is just the constant term, so minus 1. And for the next factor, again, denominator is the coefficient of x, so it's 3x plus 4. 4 is the constant term, which is in numerator. And this is how we factor. This was the first method, this one was the second method. That's all for this lesson. Thank you very much for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe and share this video with your friends. Thanks.